Hey guys, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching in from. Pretty interesting day in the crypto world with some things moving really all over the damn place. So looking forward to taking your questions and talking to you about what's been going on in the past couple days. I already see some pretty active comments so far. So thanks to everybody who's been waiting in the room, hanging out in the hanging out in the room there as well. So looking forward to getting everything started here. Just making sure the stream is all good. Sweet. So what is going on? What's going on, Rahul, Jacob, Christian, Leonardo? What is happening, folks? Hope you're having a good day, good night. What's up, Marco, my man? So I see a lot of people already talking about it, but I'm going to make a video probably tomorrow about CoinBase adding a new cryptocurrency, potentially adding a new cryptocurrency. So they released a framework. They released their specific framework that they utilize to analyze and evaluate new assets for Coinbase and GDAX. And I'm going to put together a video. I was actually going through some of the legal frameworks and some of the things that they had outlined previously before this video, so I want to put together a recorded video on that. I'm not going to cover it too much here in today's video, but definitely keep an eye out for that tomorrow because we'll definitely cover that. I know a lot of people are speculating that that's Ripple. I heard somebody ask, do you think Ripple has the potential to reach $500 a coin? No, I don't. Let's see here. Guys, if Ripple reaches $500 a coin, and the total supply right now is 38 billion. 38 billion. Ripple's market capitalization would be, I guess, $19 trillion. So I'm going to say, no, it's not going to hit $500 a coin. But that's just a crazy guesstimate. And, really solid day in the markets today. So I broke out the Macallan again anytime the market goes up nicely. Got the Macallan 12. So we're having that for Crypto Happy Hour. If you guys are drinking water, wine, whiskey, whatever it might be, I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're having a good one. And cheers to a pretty good day, especially if you own Ripple, especially if you own Cardano. Kyber Network, a big day. Stellar Lumen's coming in hot pretty recently. So looking forward to talking everything there. So let's touch on a few things. Just as a kickoff, I will try to answer as many questions as possible. There's already close to 700 people in the room. So I will try to answer as many questions as possible. But if you absolutely must have something answered, throw it in a super chat, and I will guarantee that I'll answer it. But other than that, I will try to answer as many questions as I can possibly answer that I can add any type of meaningful commentary to whatsoever. So let's hop into these questions. Like I said, if you need it answered, throw it in a super chat. If not, I try to get to it as much as I possibly, I try to get to as many questions as I possibly can. So going through some of these bad boys. Litecoin already bouncing back, by the way. Let's take a look here. And actually, I was looking at 0x, ZRX, which has taken a pretty big dip in the past, I don't know how many hours. This is 15 minutes. So it's down about 20% in the past 4 hours. I'm probably at this point in time looking at accumulating some of this 0x, is ticker symbol ZRX. It's definitely one that I am very interested in evaluating further, and I have started to buy up a little bit of it. So I think that now that it's down about 20%, it's a really solid time for me to accumulate. So that's why the chart's up here. But we'll talk a little bit about Litecoin too. Ben Collins, I appreciate that super chat very much. Thank you for that. I'm curious about where you can see Cardano in 2018. Is it still a good idea to buy more around its all-time high? I do think, I'm dollar cost averaging my way into Cardano. I do have quite a bit already. It's down a little bit from the all-time high today. I think the all-time high was up really around here. So it's down maybe 20% from the all-time high, but that's also in the course of the day. And in the past 3 days, we're still up, depending upon where you got in. Still up about 50%. We were up to close to 80+% at one point, but up to about 50%. I mean, it's still 20% off the high now. I like Cardano long term. I'm viewing a lot of different opportunities to continue to accumulate it. And right now, I think Cardano is my third biggest holding outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm a fan of Cardano. I'm going to continue to buy it. That's just me, but I think that it has a pretty solid roadmap in front of it. I think it has a solid team to execute, and I'm looking forward to watching what they can potentially do. I mean, if we're going to the market capitalization, it's about over $5 billion in market cap right now, up plus 50% on the day, 13%, give or take a little bit off the all-time highs right now, which were established today. But I don't really see any reason why Cardano, if they can execute on their vision, can't be more valuable at some point in time than IOTA or Litecoin or potentially even something like Ripple. So definitely something that I'm looking at here. David Crotchet, thank you for 66,000 subs. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Everybody who's a subscriber, it's pretty freaking crazy how fast this is growing. And I definitely want to say thank you for that. So turnaround for Litecoin, what's the next target? So I sold a bit of Litecoin and put it into Ethereum recently. Let's see here. So pull it up on GDAX. Litecoin, we could do Litecoin to USD. I mean, right now it's down up to about 270. I don't want to say, Litecoin now is trying to catch a falling knife, but I think, some of the momentum, it pumped up so hard, so fast. If we look at the past week, Litecoin was basically sitting at $100 for a while, and it pumped up all the way to 400 plus and is now kind of falling off. So I think people are searching for the next pump. I talked about that in today's video, where people are, getting that ADD, searching for the next pump, and they're out on Litecoin, and it's not going to go back up, or it's not going to go back up for a while. So I don't think Litecoin is necessarily a bad buy, but the next target, I haven't done it. I'm not a technical analysis type of guy, but I mean, anytime you can get something like Litecoin potentially that far off its all-time high, that's something to consider. So I don't want to say it's a strong buy right now, but considering how high it went up. But like I said, anytime you can buy something that with some pretty decent fundamentals like Litecoin that far off its all-time high, I don't think that's a terrible move. Dean, what's up, my man? What do we got here? So, crypto to the moon, Phil. Thank you for the kind words. About to buy 100 different coins and hold for the year and document every day. Would love if you check it out. Awesome, man. That's yeah, I'd be happy to check it out. I don't know if there's a specific investing thesis there or not. That could definitely go a number of different ways, so I'd be interested to see how that experiment ends up running for you. But yeah, I tend to go with about 5 to 7 different crypto. I evaluate numerous others to see where I can make some moves, but I tend to kind of run all over the place from an evaluation standpoint. But buying and holding 100 different crypto, I think, is pretty aggressive. So if you're doing that as an experiment, it'd be pretty fascinating to see for sure. Taking a look at some of these. What do you think about the CME futures, fireworks or quiet? Let's see. So we'll pop open. So here's the CBOE, which I believe is a little bit smaller in nature than the CME futures. I'm expecting maybe a little bit more fireworks with the CME futures, but for the most part, from what I've seen institutional wise, people are still very unsure about shorting Bitcoin and seem maybe a little bit more hesitant on it than you would think. The futures aren't trading, I would say, like that aggressively. I mean, Bitcoin is at, let's see what's the reference rate right now. So right now, Bitcoin trading at 16,000, at least with the reference rate, XBT, trading at about 16,678. The futures right now are trading at the kind of the most traded one is the futures with the expiration date of mid-January. So, the kind of average future there is trading at about 17,000. The last future traded there is about 17,480. It's up, it's up quite a bit. That's the one with the most volume, but I think CME futures is definitely going to be interesting to watch. Market reacted pretty positively to the CBOE futures, and CME was the initial one that announced that, and then CBOE kind of came out and tried to jump the gun a little bit on them. So it's, I have no way. a lot of people initially, and I thought maybe there was some potential that people would really go heavy shorting, shorting Bitcoin, and that would negatively affect the market. But so far, that hasn't been the case. But that could certainly change with the CME futures. I'm watching and waiting at this point in time. Daniel Lamartina, thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate that, my man. Struggling what I want to hold long term versus short term to swing. I feel like I just want to be hoard long term holds, but then I can't build Bitcoin either. That's I mean, it's a good question. I think that if you do long-term holds, I mean, we can talk a little bit about my portfolio in general, and I mean, my strategy right now is something kind of in that path. I pull up the portfolio, and it needs to be a little bit adjusted here, but I mean, my heaviest heaviest holding right now being Bitcoin. Cardano, I need to update this. Like I said, this is about 10 days old, close to. I've increased my holdings in Cardano quite a bit. It's probably about 10+%. It's actually about 10% of my portfolio now, Cardano is. And I've increased my holdings of Zcash as well. So those have been two of the ones that I've gone into fairly heavy, Cardano and Zcash. But those are kind of long-term buy and holds. I'm not too much of a short-term. I don't try to pretend like I'm a short-term trader. I know any more than probably any of you guys do. But I'm just trying to accumulate in dollar cost average on a continual basis in crypto that I think has solid fundamentals and that I confirm with other people as far as finding out what they think about it, trying to get as much information as possible throughout the industry from the actual experts, from the smart money, because I am not, you guys know when I talk about things, and hopefully you don't get that impression, but I am not the smart money. I'm not the hedge fund guy. I am not the I'm not the big the Wall Street big shot. I have a background in tech. I have a decent understanding of this stuff, but I'm definitely not like a financial advisor or anything like that, and don't ever want to represent that. But I'm buying and kind of holding it and accumulating long term, and this is a speculative bet for me. This is really a long term speculative bet that I'm trying to do, and by building Bitcoin. For me to build Bitcoin, it's not necessarily trading; it's more just dollar cost averaging it on a continual basis. So we'll take a look at, appreciate that super chat, my man. Take a look at Ripio, RCN. What's up, Patrick? Hope it's going on. Cardano had a nice day. Hell yeah. So Ripio, appreciate that super chat. Thank you very much. And then Rob, I will get to yours. But we'll take a look at the team because you mentioned the team itself. Global peer-to-peer credit network, cosigned smart contracts. Token sales ended. So I'm not incredibly familiar with this team, so I don't want to say too much about them. I need to do a little bit more research and due diligence on these guys before I can give you, anything of significance there. So I would say, depending upon what the deal is, just from the top, from what I know, obviously Tim Draper's a big name, big VC, bought I think 30,000 Bitcoin from the whole Silk Road debacle. Digital currency group backed by Barry Silbert, Pantera Capital, the biggest hedge fund, Pantera Capital, I believe, the biggest, one of the biggest hedge funds out there in the crypto space right now. Medici Ventures, another Medici Ventures, I believe, is the offshoot of Overstock.com. So they have some pretty big investors, which is good to see. But I need to do a little bit more research, quite frankly, on Ripio Credit Network to see before I make any type of statements there. Thoughts on Verge and Stellar over the next couple of months. So Stellar's had a nice day today. I don't know if that's off the back of any news. I haven't had a chance to see, but it's popped up about 21% in, we can pull it up. It's popped up about 21% or so. I'll pull it up on Bittrex. And it's cooled off a little bit after, popping up. I don't want to say back to the mean, but Stellar is an interesting one, especially in comparison to Ripple. And then you also have Verge. In some cases, I like Stellar a little bit more than I like Verge. Verge is also crushing it as well. Had a really nice day, up 25% or so. But I need to do some more research as far as the actual kind of tech behind Verge. Right now, my privacy coin focus is Zcash, and then I've studied a bit on Monero. I've interacted a little bit with the Monero team. I understand that Monero is obviously a very, very solid use case there as well. So I haven't done as much diligence on Verge and also like Navcoin as well, but it doesn't mean I'm necessarily like opposed to them by any stretch at all. Jordan, everyone dump your ADA so I can accumulate. Yeah, that's fine. If you guys want to do that, I'll buy that shit up real fast. So, David Carroll, what is your best advice for starting out day trading with $5,000 on GDAX? I would recommend, unless you have... I mean, personally, I would recommend not day trading if you have... Well, I guess I'll focus. I'll take a step back. If you know how to day trade, if you have a background in financial markets, if you have day traded before, if you've proven success day trading, great, do that. If you've worked on Wall Street, if you've worked in the financial industry, you know what you're doing, do it. But just because in a lot of cases there was a video today where the video this morning where I went over this Vice video where there's this guy who's talking about. He was talking about basically investing and how he was obsessed and addicted to Bitcoin, but he was basically addicted to gambling and day trading. And he, I think, made like 50% or something like that. But if you just held on to Bitcoin, you would have made 200%. So depending upon where you're going and your knowledge of the markets, day trading can or can't be profitable. I think for most people, it's not as profitable as just buying and holding solid fundamental coins. So that's what I would say to that. Garrett, appreciate that super chat and join the channel. Thank you so much for those nice words. If a person wants to get into 5 cryptos for long positions, which 5 would you get into? I mean, it's tough. And again, this isn't financial advice by any stretch. But I think Bitcoin is, for me personally, I think Bitcoin is Bitcoin is an essential part of any portfolio. I would say I would at the very least have Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is something that you probably want to, to take on as well. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, a privacy coin is an interesting use case. So whether that's Monero, whether that's Zcash, whether that's Verge, I would have a privacy coin. Maybe some type of distributed, maybe some type of DApp, whether that might be, if we pull up on-chain FX here, whether that might be something like, actually we got it right here. So whether that might be a... say like an Augur or could be a Decreed, could be a variety of things. You could maybe do a distributed a DApp. You could potentially try and get another platform. So like I like Cardano. A lot of people like Neo. Some people like IOTA. You might want to do another platform out there as well. So I would just try to, I mean, anything in crypto for the most part, like people talk about diversification. For the most part, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it goes up, it's going to, in a lot of cases, like, a rising tide lifts all ships. Bitcoin goes up. A lot of the other cryptos go up there as well. So that's something to consider. I mean, I think the big thing, at least in my opinion, with diversification, if the market tanks, a lot of things are going to tank. But the diversification comes in, today, when you have something like a Cardano going up 54%, or you have like an XRP going up 50% or something like that's where diversification comes into play. Looking at some of these questions, what are your thoughts on Chainlink? I really believe in the tech possibilities, but there's been complete silence for over a month. I like Chainlink. I, one point, made a decent little bit of profit on Chainlink, and then ended up parting ways with it. So we'll look at it maybe over the past 3 months or so. It's down quite a bit from its all-time highs, basically after it got released after the ICO. Now might be a decent time to start looking at accumulating it. I mean, it could certainly go lower. That's definitely something to think about. But overall, the team, I like the concept of what Chainlink is trying to do. But as far as investment value, I don't hold it right now, and I need to check a little bit more on the investment value itself. What's your strategy on taking profits versus holding? Strategy kind of is fluid. I think it depends on your own personal profile, your own risk profile, what you want out of crypto, and how you want to move things along. For the most part, any profits I take, I roll them back into crypto because I don't know where this market is going to go. Bitcoin could go to $2,000 tomorrow. It could go to $100,000. And if it goes to $2,000, then that's fine. for me, that's absolutely, it sucks, but that's fine for me. But if it goes to $100,000, that's, that could be potentially life-changing. So I think that my strategy is to continue to take any crypto profits and roll them back in and try to get some continuing ROI there. Crypto Bobby reminds me of Bobby Digital, Wu-Tang fan. I'm not a Wu-Tang guy. Martin Shkreli in the house, or is he in jail? I don't know. What's up, Martin? Where you at, brother? Just some cash from my Ripple for your efforts. Thank you very much, Jonah. I appreciate that. Really very nice of you. And yeah, Ripple XRP just absolutely taking it through the damn roof today. We could pull up on the US dollar tether here. Let's see. Is it Bitfinex? Yeah. So, I mean, Ripple went all the way up to 85 cents today, and now it's back down to 70 cents or so. But still, I mean, this was, as of 3 days ago, trading at 25 cents. So we're basically still up about 180%, which is just absolutely outrageous to think about. Thomas Burks, what do you think about BitClave? So let's see. That might be a recent ICO, or that might be something that's ICOing right now. Gotcha. Oh yeah, so I've seen these guys before. I haven't done a ton into the team itself. I'm somebody who is, in a lot of cases, hesitant to say that everything needs to be decentralized. I think that's the hip thing to say in crypto, is that everything needs to be decentralized, decentralize everything, blah, 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 blah. In a lot of cases, if you have a better experience on Google, if the vast majority of people out there, I know, a lot of people hate that Google monetizes everything you possibly do and knows every single step you take and all that good stuff, but, we're here on YouTube on a Google platform right now, so can't be that bad, right? But this is something where I think in a lot of crypto, a lot of these projects, they want to be a decentralized search engine. Is the friction in regular centralized search engines that bad, or that bad of an application that it needs to be decentralized? And I haven't used it yet, but unless it is something that is better than Google, it's not gonna, it's probably not gonna work that well. So who knows? But I haven't gotten a chance to utilize it yet, so I don't want to, I don't want to bash it. But just generally speaking, about a lot of these projects, not everything needs to be decentralized. So, hey, Bobby, do you see Cardano's max supply of $25 billion as an issue for Cardano in the future? I don't necessarily see that as the biggest issue. Here, we could put up available supply. So maybe we'll take this down. So right now, Cardano, where do we got Cardano? It's as a supply of 25 billion, and the year 2050 supply is going to be 45 billion. So that'll be supposed to be the year. That's why one of the reasons I like on-chain FX, but some of the filters that they have here. But the year supply in 2050 is supposed to be 45 billion. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's trading significantly lower than something like a Bitcoin. Like, is it ever going to get to Bitcoin? Is it ever going to be $17,000 per ADA? No, absolutely not. Not going to happen. Supply is way too big. But does that mean percentage-wise in gains that it can't go up? No, not at all. So I don't think that's necessarily a huge issue. I mean, you look at the supply of Ripple, and obviously Ripple's a little bit different. You look at the supply of Stellar Lumens as well. There are numerous cryptos out there that have large supplies. It just depends upon what they're doing and the token economics of that as well. Team Green, what is going on, my man? What do you think of TRX? We'll pull that bad boy up. So Tron had one heck of a day. Right now it's down. It says it's down 4%, but in reality, that's, pop it over on Binance. So in the past 3 days at least, we could do the past week. So in the past week, Tron has gone from being worth, it's gone, at one point it was up about 500%. Now it's down to about 350. Oh, wow, only 350% in a week. That's terrible, right? So Tron has crushed it, obviously, this week. I mean, if you had the confidence to go into, to go heavily into Tron, good on you. I Didn't do an incredible amount of research on Tron. I think I need to after seeing this jump, but yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of research on Tron yet. But the fact that it's now a top 20 cryptocurrency is probably making that a necessity. The fact that it was over $1 billion, now the market cap actually is still slightly over $1 billion. So I need to do a little bit more. Do a little bit more investigating on Tron. Thoughts on TokenPay? So appreciate the super chat there, my man. We got another ICO here, I'm assuming. Not good when the first thing you search is TokenPay scam, but let's pull that up. Tor integration, stealth addresses, ZK snarks, or some level of ZK snarks there. Trying to be maybe a competition to Monero, to Zcash. I don't know too much about the team. It's a newer crypto out there, so I need to do a little bit more diligence on them to see if they are legit. I think the big thing in a lot of these new ICOs is you are very much betting on the team. That's one of the big things that you are betting on. You're betting on how the team can produce their crypto asset, how they can execute against the roadmap. You're betting how they can market, because marketing is a big thing as well. But outside of marketing, I think there's some crypto out there that does a really good job of marketing, but they just don't have the technical team to actually execute on that. So I would definitely say that I have no idea about how these guys can execute and how they can fulfill against the roadmap, but I would definitely, if you're looking at that, I mean, that's one of the big things that you have to look at and significantly evaluate if you're going to put money into this ICO or any ICO on the planet. Thoughts on EOS and BTC and thoughts on EOS BTC and Tron BTC for short term. Tron has obviously gone up quite a bit. I mean, it was up. I mean, here's the chart. It was up 500% against Bitcoin at one point in time. Now it's up about 350%. I'm typically hesitant to buy in when something's up 350% or 500%, which is why, hopefully you didn't buy in at the top here and just get crushed. But, sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant to buy in at that level of hype. So, I would need to look into that. And EOS has done pretty well recently as well. I mean, we can pull that up on Binance here too. EOS had a rough day in general, but EOS had a little bit of a rough day in general. But for the past 3 months, EOS has had a pretty strong move against Bitcoin. We're talking about 200+% at one point, up to 300%. T Pierce, appreciate that super chat, as do I appreciate that from you there, Crouch, as well. Charlie. You're currently 58% Bitcoin, 13.5% ETH. Why do you have zero exposure to Litecoin, even though it's on CoinBase and widely marketed and utilized? Why? So I've made a couple different trades with Litecoin before, but I don't want to say it's overbought right now or anything like that. But I'm looking at Litecoin, and it's just, for me, what Litecoin's trying to do, I think in some cases it might be a little bit redundant for me to own both Bitcoin and Litecoin, and I'd rather have a lot of my money in Litecoin. In Bitcoin than in Litecoin. I know a lot of people out there do like Litecoin quite a bit, so I'm not anti-Litecoin by any stretch. And to be honest, it's frustrating as all hell when everybody's like, "Oh, you don't own this coin. You hate me. You hate this coin." I don't hate Litecoin. I don't hate anything that I don't own. I only have so much money, and I'm not going to put my money in 7,000 different cryptocurrencies for the purpose of putting my money in 7,000 cryptocurrencies. I like to have my money in a few different places where I can keep track of it and keep a good, kind of a good finger on the pulse. So I like Litecoin. I like Charlie. I made a trade recently. I bought Litecoin at between 100 and 115, and then I bought it at 100, 115, and then I ended up selling at about 260 and about 315. So I didn't ride it all the way up. I pulled out a little bit early, but I ended up putting that into Ethereum when it was at, I forget where it was, but maybe like 600. Rode that up to 700. So it's, yeah, it's all over the place. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier on, but I'm going to make a video tomorrow about the next crypto on Coinbase or like kind of maybe predicting a little bit or talking a little bit about that, because that is a question that I'm getting all the freaking time now, and everybody is freaking out about it. So I'm going to make a video about that. I was actually going through the fundamentals, the GDAX Coinbase basically analysis framework for what they're looking at when it comes to their next crypto or the next crypto assets that they're looking at. So I am going through that process of, I was reading their legal framework and a lot of other things that they're looking at. So I'm going to make a video about that tomorrow. So definitely take a look, take a look for it for sure. A couple people have asked about net neutrality. I mean, I don't think the whole net neutrality thing is good by any stretch. As far as how it specifically affects cryptocurrency, I don't know if there is. Substratum was up a little bit nicely from Substratum was up a little bit nicely on the day, because it kind of helps to avoid some of this issue with or kind of is trying to work around some of the things going on with net neutrality. But I don't know if it specifically is going to affect. I think it would almost affect in a lot of cases like Netflix and the streaming services more than it would affect. Like, I doubt that, I mean, maybe this is me and maybe this is me being ignorant, but I kind of doubt that like Comcast or Verizon or whoever is going to like throttle your usage to Coinbase or to Gemini or to whatever exchange. I kind of doubt that happening, because it's not like, for the most part, like, that's not really competitive. Or going against anything, so we'll see. Give me 1 second here, guys. Paychecks hit at midnight, middle class jumping in. I heard that withdrawing from Binance comes with some heavy fees. How would you compare them to other exchanges, and what exchange is your absolute favorite for purchasing altcoins? So the two exchanges, really the only two exchanges that I purchase altcoins are now, it's on Binance and Bittrex. I've started to use Binance more and more often. It's got a lot of crypto, so I've started to use Binance more and more often. But Bittrex is legit too. I mean, a lot of them, let's see, people are talking about Bitcoin. So I'll pop over to GDAX. Well, hey, boy. Bitcoin up to 17,450 right now. Up pretty nice on the... Oh, hello. Here, let me see if I could... while I'm taking this. And I got a super chat there that I missed, I believe. So I don't want to... don't want to miss that. Give me 1 second here as I sign out of this bad boy. So I'll pull this up. Alt's dropping. So in some cases, yeah, alts are dropping because Bitcoin is moving up a little bit in the past. Some money's flowing back into Bitcoin, so something to consider there. Let's see here. Gary, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. Scott McClellan, thoughts on Crypterium? I've gotten a lot of questions about Crypterium in the past. I don't see a super impactful use case for Crypterium. Something that I've gotten asked about a bunch. I got asked about that in Vegas. A couple different people have asked about them. I think I've been asked about in a super chat as well. But as far as Crypterium goes, a lot of the thing that's going on with crypto is trying to be your own bank and trying to avoid banks. So I don't necessarily know if I think that starting a crypto bank is necessarily like the most valuable use case on the planet. Gabriel, what's up, my man? Appreciate that super chat. Thank you very much for that. Investing my first $1,000. Good time to buy or wait? I mean, I get this question a lot, and I would definitely say that one of the nice things, or one of my recommendations, is usually doing some type of dollar cost average. If you got $1,000, put $500 in now, maybe put $500 in later into whatever you want. But I think dollar cost averaging, just in case you're hedging you're hedging yourself in case that the market goes down quite a bit and you don't take a massive dip. And I think it helps to, in a lot of respect, especially for somebody who's brand new. It really sucks. I mean, granted, you could put $1,000 in, and for the most part, this has happened. I know a lot of my friends that have been brand new to the space. They reach out to me. They send me a text message. They say, hey, I got $5,000 I want to throw in. I got $1,000 I want to put in. What do I do? Throw it all. They threw it all in Bitcoin. They threw it all in Litecoin. They threw it all in whatever, and that went straight to the moon. And that could certainly happen again if you throw $1,000 in now. Alternatively, it could also maybe go down a little bit, and if you are not prepared for a 20, 15, 20% dip or something like that, that could really suck as your first crypto investment. So we'll have to see what's going on. Cardano is going to pay for law school. That sounds like a good ROI for you, man. That sounds like a pretty legit ROI. Yeah, Cardano is down a little bit. I mean, that was up to 22 cents. I'm looking at CoinMarket or Blockfolio. It's down to 17 cents. Zcash was up to $500. Now it's at 430. VeChain I had, that was up quite a bit. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. But I don't want to say it was the altcoin top. Who knows? But definitely some people taking profits and throwing that back into Bitcoin for the time being. Cardano or XRP, when you sell altcoin on Binance to Bitcoin, do you get price of Bitcoin at that moment? If so, are you taking a risk with Bitcoin price at that moment? So at least with Binance, I don't know if I'm signed in right now. So I mean, at least with Binance, when you hop in here, so let's just pop to XRP. If you guys aren't too familiar with Binance or anything else, I mean, you have limit orders, you have market orders, and then you have stop limit orders. For limit orders, you set the specific amount that you want to buy, and you're only going to pay that much. Market orders is you're going to pay basically whatever is available for you to buy or to sell at. So you're going to sell it. You're going to buy. You're saying, I want to buy 1,000 Ripple at whatever the first price is, and I am going to fulfill the first. I'm basically going to fulfill anything that is. I'm going to fulfill the first asks in the order book all the way up until I fulfill my entire order. So if you have a specific number that you want to pay for Ripple, for anything else, you do a limit order, you put in what you want to pay for it, you put in the amount, and then you say, all right, I'm good to go. Same thing if you're selling it. But if you just want to buy something quickly, or if you want to sell something quickly, you do a market order, and that will either buy it at the first available price or sell it at the first available price. If you think something's moving or something like that. So, but between Cardano and Ripple, I like Cardano a little bit more. I know Ripple's had a heck of a run as well, but I like Cardano a little bit more personally right now. So going through some of these questions here as well. Yeah, so some of these alts are going down. Bitcoin is, oh, hey. So Bitcoin's moving fairly nicely right now, upwards at least. Past 15 minutes up from 7,200 or so to 7,600, which is nice to see. But it's definitely taken some of the heat away from the altcoins that really ran up. But I mean, I look at this too. If the altcoins go down, that is an opportunity to continue, for me at least, to accumulate altcoins at a cheaper level. Should I dump out of? I mean, if you want to dump out of anything, that's always your prerogative. But yeah, Litecoin is, I would say, dumping somewhat hard. But I don't know. It's definitely. I mean, you could see a lot of the money looks like flowing from Litecoin, from Ethereum, from the altcoins back into Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin is running, which is why that I have the vast majority of my portfolio in Bitcoin. I mean, I have, like you guys saw, I got about 58% of my my money in Bitcoin. I think having a good holding of Bitcoin is always a positive thing, and a lot of people like alts because they go for those bigger gains, but the gains go up and then it can drop down pretty quick too. I mean, as far as panic selling, this isn't financial advice, but typically every time you think you should sell is when you shouldn't sell, and every time, especially for newbies, every time you think you should buy, it's when you shouldn't buy. So, right now, you want to sell your Litecoin, you want to sell your Ethereum, you want to sell all these other things because they're crashing. Is that maybe the best move? Who knows? Could they go a lot lower? Yeah, they could absolutely go a lot lower. But human emotion is a crazy thing in these markets, and you're seeing it right now too. I mean, with the price of Bitcoin running up here, $17,000, close to $700, and I would definitely bet as soon as we pass $17,700, it's going to fly all the way up to 17,750 or so, maybe all the way to 17,800. And you're gonna have some people taking some profits on these altcoins that that are now dropping quite a bit and throwing that back into Bitcoin, trying to ride that wave up. So looking at some of these chats here, Civic, what are your long-term thoughts? I like Civic. I like Vinny Lingham. I know not everybody does, but I like Civic. I like Vinny Lingham. I participated in the ICO. I recently sold a decent amount of my Civic, basically all of it at that point in time. But yeah, I recently sold a decent amount of my Civic, and it's kind of pumped basically ever since I sold it. So if you hold Civic, you're welcome, because I am the good luck charm as well. For every time I sell something, it typically goes up. Okay, put in only $500. Gabriel mentions, how much should I spread that out on? I mean, typically, if it's your first crypto investment, I think putting in some money in Bitcoin and then picking an altcoin as well is usually something that's good. Sometimes I just recommend throwing it in either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin, just so you get a feel for the market before you throw it in anything else as well. I think starting off slow when you're getting started in crypto is definitely a big positive thing, because it takes a while to get used to it. It takes a while to get a feel for how the markets work and how everything functions. So I think starting off slow, having money in your back pocket to get, to utilize when you're ready to go, that's important. Crouch, appreciate that super chat very much. Thank you for that. So looking at some of these questions, a lot of questions about IOTA. I say IOTA. Holy crap, you guys, I get it, IOTA. I'll pull up the charts here. So we got IOTA. I'll look at it against the US dollar. Look at the past week. IOTA pumped from about $1. You do the past month, actually. So IOTA over the past month has pumped from about 60 cents all the way up at its peak to about $5.50, and kind of went back down to $3.40, went back up above $5, went down to $3.50, went back up to $5, and is now selling off. Looks like there's some level of kind of support in this range. I'd be curious to see if it holds. If not, it might go quite a bit lower. So certainly something to take into consideration. I think IOTA has a lot to prove from a scaling perspective. I know some people have had a few different issues with it, but I think that there's a lot of excitement around IOTA. It does have a pretty rich valuation, though, when you look at pull up the current market cap. I mean, IOTA's at close to $10 billion in market capitalization, so fairly rich valuation, but it does have an interesting concept. The Tangle is a unique way to approach things. So we'll see what happens. Best website for beginners for knowledge and graphs. There's a lot of things out there. As far as there's a lot of things out there from a perspective of charts, graphs. There's a couple different people on YouTube that are pretty good when it comes down to it. There's a lot of paid courses as well. I typically don't recommend. You guys know me. I don't really offer anything that's paid at all. I just don't. For me, I like coming in. I like talking to you guys and hanging out with you. But the second I charge you for advice, that means I'm pretty much indebted to making sure you're successful. And I really, this is just kind of general conversational advice. And I don't want you guys to pay me, and then I make a bad call or something like that, and then you're not happy with me. So I don't really do that too much. But as far as good places, I mean, one thing that I'd recommend. If you're brand new to the space, is I would read this book on Amazon, Crypto Assets. I would check this bad boy out. Chris Bernisky. So looking at some of these questions is going to break 18K. It's definitely possible. I wouldn't doubt it. It looks like it certainly has some momentum right now. So what's the all-time high for Bitcoin? At least on chain FX. Let's see what that is. So all-time highs, according to on-chain FX, at least 18,353. Might be possible to break that tonight, and we're starting to see some some movement out of the altcoins. People taking profit in those altcoins. So should be fairly fascinating to watch as this goes down. But yeah, a lot of altcoins that were doing pretty well beforehand. Zcash being one of them I was up quite a bit today, up to like $510, now down about $100 since then. So $17,800, it looks like right now. That's about to run through that. Yep, there we go. Oh, yeah, I did remember when it broke 19,000 on GDAX. That was nuts. Time to buy ZRX, Bitcoin, ZRX with Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to average a little bit into ZRX now. That's definitely something that I'm looking at doing for the time being, just because I think that you might get some decent value out of it. Victor Ollier. Oh, sorry about that. I appreciate the super chat, my man. Thanks a lot for that, Victor. Do I hold my alts on a nano or what? Yeah, I hold my altcoins on a nano, or at least the vast majority of them. Anything I can hold on my Ledger Nano S, I hold on my Ledger Nano S. Recommend a backup as well if you have a lot of money in it. Throw that in a safety deposit box in a bank. It's funny that crypto, the entire thing with crypto is like, hey, you don't want to use a bank, screw the banks, and then people are storing ledgers in safety deposit boxes in banks. So it's funny how that works, but it seems to be one of the most secure ways to do things. So that's definitely something that I've been looking at as well. How is the Trezor wallet? So I like Ledger Nano S. That's what I've used personally in the past. But Ledger and Trezor are, and I literally can't pronounce it because I'm an idiot. But Ledger and Trezor are the two. Trezor are the two. I think the two best, or the two most highly recommended. Basically, the two most highly recommended ways to go about. Basically, the two most highly recommended ways to acquire in a lot of respects. To store and hold your crypto in a hardware wallet. So Ledger and Trezor. Sir, how about BitConnect? How about BitConnect? Sorry, if I talk for so long, my brain just stops working. So there we go. Thoughts on the CME? So CME, I talked a little bit about it previously. I mean, so I'll pull this bad boy up, but CME Group. So this is launching on December 18th. So Monday, they're going to have a CME CF Bitcoin reference rate. What they're calling the BRR. This is going down on Monday, which should be quite interesting to see how that ends up happening and what, from a trading perspective, how things end up rolling. CME Group, to my knowledge, is quite a bit bigger than the CBOE, so I think that you might see quite a bit more trading action on CME than you would on the CBOE. CME was kind of the one that I think really started the whole Bitcoin futures trend, and we'll have to see how it ends up playing out. But I expect some potential price volatility to happen on Monday when it comes down to CME. Whether or not that goes straight up, we'll have to see if that happens or if there's some level of short interest there. But the CBOE was any indication there was a decent desire to go long with Bitcoin. I make handcrafted, homegrown, grass-fed crypto memes. Can you check me out on Instagram? CryptoKiz is my name. Let's see. So here's our man's CryptoKiz. Appreciate the super chat there. Yeah, I guess throw CryptoKiz a follow if you're on Instagram. I'll shoot you a follow on Instagram as well. I don't really have a Crypto Bobby Instagram. I'm too lazy for that. But yeah, appreciate the super chat there, my man. Thank you so much. Property Services, thank you very much for that super chat. Very kind of you. Appreciate that. $40,000. 40,000 or 40K. How would you split your portfolio? Cost average, Chainlink. I mean, you need to. If you're going to throw $40,000 into crypto, I would say that you don't want to. I would say if you're throwing 40 grand into crypto, that you shouldn't throw 40 grand into crypto based off of some random guy on YouTube, me. You shouldn't throw 40 grand into crypto based upon what I say. Maybe take everything with a grain of salt, but I absolutely would not listen to exactly what's going on and do, oh, there's the Bitcoin dump. Heyo. So I'll see what happens here. If some people got some whales taking profits or what the heck is happening, but heyo, Bitcoin. So yeah, I would definitely do a lot of due diligence. If you're going to put that much money into the market, you should certainly have an understanding of where you want to, why you want to do something, what an investment thesis is, and don't just listen to myself or anybody else on YouTube or really anywhere else. Thoughts on 0% margin trading with Robinhood, Jake? I would say that unless you know what you're doing, I would stay away from margin trading. If you know what you're doing, then go for it. But I would be cautious of that, and I would be a little bit wary too. I mean, I'm not saying anything negatively about Robinhood, but if you're going to do margin trading, I think you'd probably want to do that on a more established exchange. I know a lot of like the crypto OGs out there that do margin trading do it on BitMEX and Bitfinex. So I would take a look at BitMEX or Bitfinex if you're going to do margin trading. I don't know if I would start off with a brand new platform just because of the fees. I would do a little bit of diligence to see what the deal is, if it's legit, how it's set up, if it's something that you can work with or not. And, go from there. How do you think a stock market crash will affect crypto? Well, first of all, the stock market has to crash. Second of all, I don't think there's any specific correlation between the stock market yet, or I haven't seen any data or heard anybody point to any good, solid data that compares directly the stock market to really a stock market crash to, or stock market in general to Bitcoin, to the cryptocurrency markets in general. Got a nice little bit of a sell-off here. Let's see what's happening. But yeah, I haven't seen anything specifically that's really shown me any direct correlation between the stock market on the positive or negative aspect. So, I mean, everybody's kind of freaking out, looks like. As far as the altcoins diving, I mean, you could say diving, but you also have to consider a lot of these alts are up a significant, stupid amount. So, if you're talking about any of these cryptos that are dropping a little bit right now, I mean, they were up quite a bit. So, I'm not freaking out. If you want to freak out, you can freak out. Depends on where you got in, what your dollar cost average is, but what goes up in a lot of cases must come down. So just take that into consideration next time you're looking at something. XRP. People are saying XRP fire sale. Let's take a look. That's a red candle. Yeah, so it's selling off a little bit. Let's see, how far down is it in the past? What is this? I mean, it's down about 30% in the past 3 hours, but then you're also up in the past. You're still up. If you've had any money in Ripple in the past 3 days, if you were in over 3 days ago, you're still up 150%. So, it's down 30% from the peak, but yeah, I mean, you're still up 150% or so. So, I mean, you got to take that into consideration. But if you bought up here, yeah, freak out. That sucks. Do I make trades on Coinigy or just charting? I really just chart on Coinigy. I don't do too much trading on it. I don't really run any orders through that at all. What am I sipping on, Bobby? It's Macallan 12. Got this, forget when, like last week. Why won't he talk about Litecoin? Because I talked about Litecoin 15 minutes ago. No, I'm just kidding. But you don't have to yell in all caps. I can read the comments. So, relax. I'm just kidding. But really, guys, I get a lot of, I get a lot of questions. So, me not talking about something for 5 minutes does not mean I hate it, or I hate you, or I hate anything. Thoughts on Binance for trading? I like Binance. Binance has treated me pretty well so far. Let me get back to the super chat. Victor, what's going on, my man? Do you have issues doing limit orders on GDAX? My orders just sit there. When I make a market offer, it rejects it. Makes no sense to me. I'm not sure, maybe, Victor, if you might be doing it wrong, but I've never had an issue with limit orders or market orders on GDAX ever. So I'm not sure if there's any type of error you might be making or whatnot, but I've typically had pretty good success when it's come to trading and having orders fulfill on GDAX. I mean, it's usually one of the more liquid markets out there, so it's usually been fine for me. Yeah, Andrew, I am. I'm not married. I hate LTC so much. I hate all you guys that invest in LTC. I hate all of you. No, I'm kidding. I got triggered. I let it out. Sorry. Whoever I yelled at, I'm sorry. Am I completely finished with trading on GDAX? No, not at all. Feels bad, man. Yeah, Vince, that's right, man. That is right. It's funny because when I don't know, some of you guys might know, some of you might not, but I went to Vegas this weekend and spoke at the North American Crypto NAC3 North American Cryptocurrency Conference. It was pretty cool. Beginner focused type conference. I had a 30-minute speech, and then I was on the Q&A panel, and I think they're putting together a kind of a US wide tour. So I was talking to Andy, the guy who founded the NAC3, and they're going to do a conference in New York, I think, in February, and like LA in March, and like Miami and San Fran and a couple other places. And I got invited to speak at all of them as well. But when I walked into the conference in Vegas, somebody literally whispered, they're like, I think that's the guy who hates BitConnect. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, yes, that's me. That's me. Yeah, Chisholm, I'm ignoring you, man. WTF, brother. No other questions here, man. No other questions. I'm purposely ignoring you, Chisholm. So what do we got? Vertcoin, just because I don't want to ignore you. How did I do at craps? I lost about $400. I lost, at the time, it was about an Ethereum. Let's see. I'll pull up VTC and Coinigy. Where we got here. Oh, boy. So I am not personally, I'm not a big Vertcoin guy. It's just not my total cup of tea. I know a lot of people have done really well with Vertcoin. I haven't been one of those, but I'm not a massive. I get the utility of it, but I'm not like a huge fan of it personally. Like I said, it's just not everything in crypto is my cup of whiskey, my cup of tea, whatever. But I get the utility behind it. I get the reason why people like it and why they want to invest in it. Hasn't had the best month in comparison to Bitcoin. I mean, it had a nice little spike in the middle of the month and sold off quite a bit. Since then, today hasn't been a great day for Vertcoin at all. But it's an interesting one that, Vertcoin owns up to its name. It vertically goes up and down. Yeah, pretty much. Cardano and Ripple bouncing back. Yeah, that's always good to see. It's always good to see from their end. I mean, I don't really have Ripple. I do have, obviously, Cardano. I know a couple different people have been asking about that. I have been a fan of Cardano. Personally, it's one of the cryptos that I like quite a bit. It's recovering a little bit here from that Bitcoin sell-off, or from that sell-off. Maybe that was derived from Bitcoin's pump. But I like Cardano quite a bit. It's a long-term hold for me. It's something that I want to continue to hold on to for the time being. So yeah, we'll have to see how that ends up panning out, but I do like Cardano quite a bit. What are your thoughts on ARK? So we can pull this up. I mean, got $400 million market cap. ARK is an interesting one. What they're trying to accomplish, kind of interoperability between chains, a little bit more flexibility and scalability. I think they have a solid team in place. They have some really solid partnerships in place. I like ARK. I don't have any money in ARK at all personally, but I like what they're trying to accomplish and where their head's at this point in time. But I mean, for me, I need to do a little bit more diligence in terms of where they're actually at and how successful they might be from a roadmap perspective. That's, on my end, I think, really that is something that's extremely important, is how how can a company execute against the roadmap? Where's the roadmap? How is that going to affect anything? Is it really going to be legitimate? Is it really useful? And yeah, we'll have to see. Georgie, about to yawn, but Georgie, appreciate that super chat. Ever use Quadraga CX or any Canadian trading sites? I have not. I'm in the U.S. I just assumed anybody in Canada just use like maple syrup exchanges and maple leafs and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm just kidding, but I don't have too much knowledge as far as the exchange situation in Canada, unfortunately. Can someone hook me up with some Bitcoins? Yeah, guys, you want to throw Merc? You guys want to throw Merc, each a Bitcoin, because, Bitcoins are very inexpensive. Cody said, I have Bitcoin on Coinbase. I want to exchange it for XRP. What is the best site for that? As usual, if you guys, so this is ARK, but this is the same thing for anything else. Go to CoinMarketCap, click on the crypto that you want to click on the markets, and that will tell you the places in which you can buy it. This would be similar for XRP, for Ripple, where it's traded on Bittrex. I believe it's traded on Binance as well. So you could simply hop over to Bittrex, create an account, or Binance. There is no verification on Binance, so you don't even need to do that. And if you want to sign up on Binance, here's my link for that. So let me see if I can just grab that. So if you want to sign up for Binance, there's my link below. It's cryptobobby.com/Binance. If you want to, utilize that, that's a good way to get any altcoin as well. Shapeshift is good for amateurs as well. Changelly is good for amateurs too. Are my funds safe in Coinbase GDAX? So I think that's a good question. And depending upon how new you are to crypto, I mean, the best practice in crypto, is to, in a lot of respects, have your money on a hardware wallet that is not connected to the internet, on an encrypted hardware wallet that is not connected to the internet. But there are a lot of people that are not comfortable utilizing a hardware wallet, yet they're not comfortable, in that scenario. So when you are considering that, when you're looking at, something like that, you want to, when you're looking at how that might affect things, you want to, from the perspective of, let's see here real quick. When you're looking at thinking about having something secure on Coinbase and GDAX, if you're not comfortable personally securing your coins, personally securing your crypto, Coinbase and GDAX are a good place to start for the most part. You just need to make sure you have two-factor authentication enabled, and you need to be smart about how you're doing things for sure. Somebody said get a Nano S. Yeah, I would definitely recommend a Nano S. I find it to be very easy to use, and something that I think is, if you're gonna have any modicum, if you have any significant level of crypto, like let's just say you have a couple $1,000s in crypto, if you're gonna put your money in something, you should understand. You should take the time and understand how to secure it. You should take the time to understand the technology behind it, and you shouldn't just say, like this is stuff that can literally very easily get stolen. If you are stupid about your email, if you're stupid about your security, it will get hacked. You will lose your crypto. So you wouldn't just take $5,000 and leave it on your porch and say like, hey guys, yeah, you know what? Yeah, here's my $5,000. Come and get it. You wouldn't do that. So why would you do that with why would you do that with your crypto? So just because it's digital and you feel like it's safe, it's probably not. You should take the time to secure it and understand it. 2 happy hours in one day. Hell yeah, we had crypto happy hour for breakfast and we had crypto happy hour for for dinner. So thoughts on long-term hold, thoughts on Litecoin as a long-term hold. Sorry if this was discussed, just got here. No problem at all. I appreciate the super chat. I know a lot of people have been asking about Litecoin. I got yelled at because I didn't talk enough about Litecoin. Litecoin is an interesting long-term hold, especially with some of the issues that's happening right now with Bitcoin, some of the issues that's happening right now with Ethereum from a network congestion perspective. I think Litecoin is pretty interesting long term. It, in some cases, is more usable than Bitcoin right now, although I continue to be most heavily invested in Bitcoin and I'm not really invested in Litecoin. But I do get the thesis behind investing in Litecoin. I made a nice trade earlier this week, riding Litecoin up from $115 all the way up to like 260 and then 315. So I've made some nice trades on Litecoin in the past. As a long-term hold, I think it's a good one. In some cases, it's outperformed Bitcoin pretty substantially over some time periods, and then over other time periods, it hasn't. So let's see here. Here we go against Bitcoin. So it's up and down in terms of its, basically Litecoin is up and down in terms of its Litecoin pairing. I mean, if you look at the US dollar chart, it looks like you're like, oh, wow, it's moon. We're just mooning, going all the way up. But then you also have to consider what would have been the case if you held on to Bitcoin long term as well. So it's been pretty up and down. I mean, right now, it's not at the all-time highs, but it was almost at all-time highs previously, at least from the data basically from the data that is on GDAX. So something to consider. Matias, yeah, if you want to sign up for Binance, just go to cryptobobby.com/Binance. And that's my link. If you want to support your mans, it's a good way to do it. Do you think of quitting your day job? No, I do not. I do not think of that. I like my day job. Pays me well. It's good. It's a good long-term career. But I also love this stuff as well. But right now I basically have two I don't want to say two day jobs, but I have two day job incomes, which is fun. So I could take that. Jordan, thoughts on the 550 ETH limit order I just placed? Where do we have ETH? What's up, ETH? So that might be on Gemini. Maybe it's on... we got a ways to go. You're going to see, I don't want to say a massive market correction. It was down to about 6, found some support at 620. You're looking at about a 16-17% drop. I mean, you just have to be patient. Most likely, I would think that at some point in time, ETH is probably going to go back below 550. Order will probably fill, but you need to, really, in that case, I think you really need to just be patient with it. The raw veganpreneur, am I a slave to the clock? I wouldn't say I'm a slave to the clock. I'm also not a raw vegan. I eat steak every day for lunch, baby, and dinner. I'm kidding. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, working software sales. So I work in enterprise software sales. If anybody cares, yeah, that's what I do. What is the difference between Binance and Bittrex? I mean, quite frankly, there's not that much of a difference for the most part. Bittrex, the one thing that I'll say is Bittrex is headquartered in the U.S. and it's been a little bit more conservative as far as the number of crypto that they add to their exchange. So Bittrex has been a little bit more conservative recently as far as adding new ICOs. Bittrex is very quick to add new cryptocurrency to it. So, attaboy, Jeremiah. Bittrex is very quick to add, or Binance is very quick to add new cryptocurrency to their exchange, new forks, things like that. We got a little bit of a sell-off here, maybe with Bitcoin going all the way up. Thought it might push 18 grand, but now it's back down a little bit. So this will be interesting to watch play out. When are you going to be a guest on the PBR podcast? I think I sent you guys, I think I responded to you guys. I don't know if you sent me an email or not. Shoot me an email. I'd be happy to join your podcast. Does GDAX have an export feature for filing taxes? Yeah, they do. So they have a CSV export, so you can, yeah, for sure. Most, pretty much all the exchanges have some CSV export tool, and then I would either recommend using something like this, bitcoin.tax, which I'm using, or cointracking.info is the other one. Cointracking is more expensive. There's some more other features, but if you want to just get CSVs and upload them, bitcoin.tax is pretty legit. So Connor McHugh, and this is something helpful for some of you, maybe it's not at all, but I'm trying to deposit on Binance, but every time it tries to give me a long string of code, I'm confused. Why can't I deposit money just like on Coinbase? So you guys have to understand there's really two different types of exchanges. There are exchanges that allow you to, especially in the United States and probably elsewhere as well, but in the United States, there are only a few different exchanges that actually allow you to put the US dollar into crypto. So right now in the US, there is there's Coinbase and GDAX, because Coinbase and GDAX are the same company. There's Gemini and there's Kraken. Those are the only companies that actually have a money transmitter license to allow you to take your US dollars and move them into crypto. So primarily just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. There are numerous other altcoin exchanges that you have access to, such as Bittrex, such as Binance, whatever it is. But with Binance, with Bittrex, you have to take your US dollars and or whatever, crypto it is, you have to take your fiat money and you have to move that into Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. And from there, you send your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or your Litecoin to your wallet to your Bitcoin wallet or to your Ethereum wallet on Binance. And then from there, you can trade with those trade pairings. So something like Binance does not allow you to take US dollars because they are not a certified money transmitter. So that's something to consider, and that is going to be the same for many of the altcoin exchanges as well. I think Kraken's in San Fran. I think. Crypto reminds me of penny stock pump and dumps. I mean, in some cases, probably as volatile as penny stocks. I mean, the liquidity is probably fairly similar. I would say the market, I don't know the market size of pennies. I think the market might, in some cases, be fairly similar, and there definitely are pump and dumps. There definitely is manipulation in crypto for sure, but I wouldn't say it's very different. I don't really play around with penny stocks, so I don't know how the comparison might be there at all. Brian, just use GDAX instead, man. Don't use if you have Coinbase set up, use GDAX instead of Coinbase. It's much more transparent pricing and easier. We know Crypto Bobby, but we don't know Bobby. I'm confused. What other kinds of interests do you have besides cryptocurrency? I'm a huge New York Jets fan. They suck. So that's a shitty interest. It's the worst. I'm also interested in steak and not being a vegan. Generally unhealthy food and yeah, I don't know. Traveling, whatever. Yeah, Brian mentioned, I mean, that's one thing, especially if you're new to the space, it sucks. It's unfortunate. But for me, I was kind of lucky because I've been in crypto for like 3 or 4 years. And I've been in crypto for a number of years, so I've had a Coinbase account forever. I have like a $50,000 weekly buy limit if I want. I don't buy $50,000 a week, but yeah, and skiing, Jordan. I would say that just from my perspective, yeah, try being a Browns fan. That's definitely way worse. But from the perspective, I just lost. I do like fishing as well. But from the perspective of all these exchanges and all these, all the infrastructure in the crypto space is super stretched thin and really having difficulty as far as being able to keep up with the demand and the new entrants into the space. So it is something that I would definitely say, it sucks. It's unfortunate. I know a lot of you guys are having issues with Coinbase. A lot of you might be having issues with Kraken, whatever. These companies are really having a difficult time to keep up with the overall demand in the crypto space. And it's unfortunate for the people that haven't been verified before and haven't gotten a chance to go through that. Do I like puppies? Yes. Herpo Bob, that's a shame. Steak and not being a vegan. If you got all this sweet crypto cash coming in sustainably that you enjoy, wouldn't you also enjoy knowing that you have a sustainable diet too? The only sustainable diet to me is something that has steak in it twice a day. Yeah, Thaddeus, I hate you, man. I hate you, Thaddeus. Taking a look at some of these questions here. And guys, as I'm looking at this, if you are new to the space, hit that subscribe button. I do daily videos on the subject of crypto. Tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about, depending upon what happens tonight, but if anything crazy goes on, I'll talk about that over the course of the night. But if anything happens with with the overall market, I will definitely let you know. But I want to talk a little bit about the Coinbase issues, or not the Coinbase issues, but with Coinbase potentially adding some new crypto and how they're analyzing that. So I want to talk about their framework and what you can think about. Yes, Joel, I am specifically avoiding Electroneum. Something is afoot. Something is afoot. It's aloof. Electroneum. You want me to talk about Electroneum? Let's talk about Electroneum. It's down 8% in the day. It's at 7 cents. It's a $350 million market cap, if you want me to be super blunt. Their blockchain is live, but they hired HackerOne. I think that it is in no way, shape, or form worth $350 million. That is my personal opinion. Everybody invests in Electroneum would probably be mad at that. I don't hate you. I wish you well. I hope you make money. But I don't think Electroneum is under any circumstances in this planet worth $350 million. I think that they're great at marketing, but I don't think that they're, technically speaking, probably the best. So that's just my personal opinion. But Bobby is avoiding Doge. Dogecoin was what got me into cryptocurrency. I made 10x on Dogecoin this year. I turned a $300 investment in 2014. I bought 1 million Dogecoin. I sold that 1 million Dogecoin for 1 Bitcoin. Now that 1 Bitcoin is worth $17,000. So yeah, we're good. So Bruno mentions, I lost 30% of my initial investment so far. Trading without knowledge of what you're doing and jumping from one crypto to another does more harm than good. Yeah. Don't want to pick on you, Bruno. Sorry that you lost some money. And I think, hopefully you learn from that lesson. You're better for it in the long term. But there are a lot of people out there that make all these videos about how awesome they are at trading and all this stuff, but for the most part, it's blind. And there are obviously a lot of people out there that are very intelligent traders and they know what the heck they're doing. But for the vast majority of people that are the day traders now and all these folks, you're just riding a wave, and the wave has gone up and up. And if you've lost money, there has been a major issue. So I would just say that, yeah, too. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing trading, don't trade. Just don't do it. It's not that crazy. Like, I know it's fun. I know it's a dopamine hit. It's like, basically trading crypto is like a drug. It's pretty much like the addictiveness of a drug. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it unless you have an informational advantage. Unless you have an advantage in trading, don't trade if you don't know what you're doing. Hopefully you learn from that, Bruno. I didn't want to pick on you or anything like that, but I think that's definitely something to consider. McBird, what is your minimum % allocation to an altcoin? I mean, if you want to see my portfolio in general, I mean, you can see it right now. I mean, here is my exact portfolio with my allocations. I'll throw in the super chat. But those are, you know, my minimum allocation to an altcoin is like 3 or 4%. I need my fix. Yeah, a lot of you guys do. It's basically, for some people, it's gambling. It's just a, you know, it's just a different type of gambling. My thoughts on REQ. Request Network. $147 million market cap. Obviously pretty legit. So I got asked about this one pretty recently. I think it might have been this morning too. Taking a little bit of a look. I say too much. It's not good. I think I literally got asked about these guys on Crypto Breakfast Hour this morning, so I do need to do a little bit more due diligence on them to give you, you know, any type of legit. I think they're trying to be a competitor to PayPal. Obviously, they mentioned so trying to have a competing type of product to PayPal, or not necessarily to PayPal specifically, but pay with request, almost like pay with Stripe, pay with PayPal, pay with a credit card, having something else underneath that to pay with, pay with request. But I do need to do a little bit more diligence on request before I can make any type of really good thought process. And as far as being a Marine, now I'm not a Marine. I went to officer candidate school, but was never earned the title. Do have a bunch of buddies that are still in though, so. Are you bullish on trading CryptoKitties? I actually never bought a CryptoKitty at all. One second here. Am I investing in TokenPay? No, I'm not. What channels do you watch on YouTube for crypto info? I listen to more podcasts than I would say I listen to more podcasts than I watch other YouTube videos for the most part. Just because podcasts in some cases are a little bit more portable for me. So I listen to a decent amount of podcasts. That's definitely one thing that I do. I like Unchained. Laura Shin from Forbes is good. Clay Collins is another one that he is a guy who founded Lead Pages, which is a pretty legit software company. They have quite a bit of they rocketed up in terms of just long-term, just in terms of revenue, and I think he's now started this company Nomics or Mnemonics. I forget. Let me pull it up here. But I actually posted about their. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, shoot me a follow. I'll throw that into the chat here. But I posted a little bit here. So I posted today about 4 hours ago. He has a podcast called The Flippening. Very, well-produced podcast, like way better than mine. He speaks a lot better than me as well. So, but yeah, Clay Collins did a podcast. He has like 4 episodes. I listened to the first one that he had, one of the first ones with Kyle Samani, who is the managing partner at Multicap or Multicoin. And there's the two other general partners there. It's Tushar Jain and then Vinny Lingham, who's the founder of Civic. And I thought the overall, that podcast, that episode itself was fantastic. Learning about, you really want to, for me personally, I'm trying to learn as much as possible, because the more I learn, the better these episodes get, the more valuable content I can give to you guys overall, because I don't want to provide you the same shitty content or whatever. So I would just want to make sure that you guys have good content. My Twitter handle is twitter.com/crypto_Bobby. Crypto Bobby was taken, so it's crypto_Bobby, unfortunately. But the episode with Kyle Samani was great, because Kyle runs a hedge fund, and you get to learn about like what these people that are creating hedge funds and that have hundreds of millions of dollars under, I think in Kyle's case with Multicoin, they have about $100 million in assets under management. So you learn what somebody that is managing $100 million of crypto is doing, what they're thinking, their investment theses. That type of thing is extremely valuable, in my opinion, to learn about what they're doing and kind of where their head's at. There's only one crypto, Bobby. It's your man's right here. So what do we got here? 2 super chats. Natex Car, appreciate that. Thoughts on XRB if it makes it to Bittrex Binance? XRB is pumped pretty hard. I know a lot of people have been asking about this one. It's trading on. I have never used any of these exchanges that Ryblox is currently trading on. I think it went up to like $4 or so. It's now back down to $2.84, but it's trading on Mercatox. Actually has some decent volume on Mercatox, and then it's on BitGrail and Bitflip. So I don't have an account on any of these, but I would assume that if it goes on to Bittrex or Binance, it's going to rocket. That would be probably a safe assumption, and my guess would be it would hit Binance before it hits Bittrex, because Binance has typically been much faster to add new crypto. So that's something I would say. Why do you have to buy Ripple with Bitcoin? Why can't you buy it directly with dollars? And quite frankly, there's only, so I mean, at least in the US, there's really only 3 places, like I said, that you can buy crypto with dollars, and that's Kraken, Coinbase, and Gemini. Coinbase being the biggest one, most established one, the longest one in existence. And you can only buy 3 different crypto on Coinbase right now: Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Although a lot of people are rumoring that Ripple is going to be the next one that gets added to Coinbase to trade and to buy with dollars. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, and that's what I'm going to make for tomorrow's video, is talk a little bit about what Coinbase and GDAX are looking at when it comes to analyzing crypto to add to their platform, because they have explicitly said, they have explicitly said that they are analyzing and evaluating new cryptocurrencies to be added to their platform. Obviously, the more crypto, granted, Coinbase is running into some issues as well, but granted, the more crypto that Coinbase has on its platform, the more volume that's going to be on the platform, and the more money they're going to make in fees. So it's advantageous. It's in Coinbase's best interest to put money, or to add more crypto to their exchange. The one thing is that Coinbase and all these other companies, Gemini and Kraken, they have to make sure that they are not adding any. They have to make sure that they're not adding any securities to their exchange. They need to make sure that they're not exposing themselves legally to the SEC and to these other regulatory bodies, because they are headquartered in the U.S. They're governed by U.S. laws, and if they add a security and they basically transmit securities, unregistered securities, they're going to be in big trouble. So that's what we'll talk about. Definitely what will be talked about tomorrow after I go through a little bit of prep. Can Binance's limit sell be used as a safety tool to set your own price to sell in case of a big drop? Yes, it can. And that's really what that in a lot of respects is what the stop limit is with. That's really in a lot of respects what the stop limit is of. Let's see if I have any, if I can kind of go to show real quick. I'm going to pull this up pulling it up on the other window here real quick to see. What do I have? I have 6. So I'll pull this up. I'll talk through it briefly in real time. I actually haven't used the stop limit order yet on Binance. I've used that on GDAX, so I'm not sure exactly how it might be different, but we'll explain it here in real time. So right now I have a whole 6 Ripple. So, I mean, I'm rolling in the dough on Binance. So rolling in the dough on Binance with a whole 6 Ripple. But if I wanted to sell, Ripple, say I wanted to sell 100%, I want to sell my 6 Ripple. what I could do is the price of, so right now the price of XRP to Bitcoin is 0.00. Let's see here. Looks like it's, so if I think it's going to drop, it's trading at 0.0042, 4 zeros and 43. If I want to do that, if I want to put the stop, I could put it at 0.004, or if I think it's going to dip even further, I'll just say like, hey, if it goes down below 0.000035, I want to trigger a sell order, and I will sell it. The stop is the point where that triggers that order, and then the limit is how low you'll go. So it will do a market sell order as soon as that stop gets hit. And depending upon how crazy the sell is, maybe you might sell it basically right at that number. But if you think that it's going to go, like, if it's going to really crash pretty hard, you can put 0.00003 as the limit, and it's going to sell your Ripple anywhere between 3.5 and 3. So in that gap, if for whatever reason your market limit, your market order is not able to sell before it goes below 3, then your order won't fill. So that's basically how that, just generally speaking, works long term. Kick is booting ETH and going with Stellar. Buy and hold. I mean, to be honest, we got our friends over at Kin. What do we got here? You know, Kin is one of the big. Kin was one of the big, hyped ICOs. There are a lot of institutional investors in it. A lot of people that were really big on Kin, big on Kick. It hasn't done anything. It really hasn't. And I mean, so I think CoinDesk tweeted something out, and CoinDesk tweeted something out, and I almost tweeted a response, and I was just like, I'm gonna hold off. But Kin is moving their token from an ERC20 token to Stellar, I believe. And I was going to joke around and say, yeah, Ethereum is really going to miss that $125,000 in daily volume, because for the size of Kin, it's only traded on only traded on Ether Delta right now. Not that big of a deal. I don't know. No, it's 756 billion Kin. Yeah, somebody says I prefer stop limits just in case how volatile it gets could drop way below regular stop order. Yeah, it's definitely the case. So I think stop limit orders are, if you don't know how to use them, I would recommend watching a YouTube video or anything like that, trying to get familiar with it, because that's certainly important. And guys, outside of that, so been going for about an hour and 40 minutes here or so now. So, I mean, if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Like I said, I do daily videos on crypto, do daily videos on the subject of crypto, and then I do these sometimes. Today was twice a day, so I did two crypto happy hours. I did one for breakfast and one for actual happy hour, but 2 YouTube lives today. Sometimes I do them a couple times a week. Sometimes I do them twice a day. So hit that subscribe and the little notify bell there so you can join for the next time. But at this point, I think I am going to head off, going to relax a little bit for the rest of the night, try to take it easy, maybe play 30 minutes of Call of Duty, and I'm just absolutely awful at Call of Duty. So that might happen. But yeah, a little bit tired at this point in time. So keep an eye out tomorrow for that video on. Keep an eye out tomorrow on that video for the how Coinbase is evaluating the next crypto that they're going to look at. That'll be up tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But I do really appreciate everybody's time, everybody's questions. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question, again, I always apologize. I definitely apologize. Stream Call of Duty. You do not want to. You don't want me to stream my 0.75 kill to death ratio, because it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I'm disgustingly bad at Call of Duty. But it's fun, so I'll probably end up doing that. But I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you guys so much. Keep an eye for that video tomorrow. PS4 gamer tag. I don't even know what it is, honestly, off the top of my head. But thank you guys so much for your time. Take it easy. Peace.